Hey everybody, welcome to the third edition of the Absolute Shenema Movie Club.
Third
This was
edition.
chosen by Louis, which we have with us with Goose and Plow, PK, and another household name. Who else do we have here? Yeah, that's it.
I'm here.
Smurf. I'm Smurf. We got Dabney Dundee.
How you
And
doing?
this third edition we watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out 2019. And yeah, hey, it's Louis. How'd you come across
Spoilers.
this movie?
All right, well, I picked this because it's one of my favorite pictures. Saw this when it came out in the theaters. I'm a Tarantino fan for a lot of his stuff, no surprise there. Something about this speaks to me because it's these old-time actors and a certain slice of life. But before we get started, I'm going to read a very brief synopsis for anybody that hasn't seen the movie. You need to, but this is what it's about. Actor Rick Dalton gained fame and fortune by starring in a 1950s television western, but he's now struggling to find meaningful work in Hollywood that he doesn't recognize anymore. He spends most of his time drinking and palling around with Cliff Booth, his easygoing best friend and longtime stunt double. Rick also happens to live next door to Rowan Polanski and Sharon Tate, a filmmaker and budding actress whose futures will forever be altered by members of the Manson family. Go!
It was
I
pretty
liked it.
solid. Yeah,
It is the same. It is that Roman Polanski, by the way, audience.
yeah, the one
Not to
that
be confused.
Is there another
Versus the
Roman
other one.
Polanski?
yeah, some less famous one.
So my just for a side story, my mother, we here, I don't know if everybody in the country does. I don't think they do. We get Kashmir Pulaski Day off in Chicago, Land area.
Yeah,
So my mom used to, because we used to get it off, so she would take me out to lunch. But she would call it Roman Polanski Day, and she would say, "Hey, it's Roman Polanski Day. Take a 13-year-old out to lunch." And I never really understood the entirety of the joke until I got older, and I realized that she's a pretty funny lady.
Damn,
Your mom's definitely funnier than you are. Yes.
Yeah, really.
can she be here next
So-
next podcast?
She cannot, unfortunately. Yeah, no, she'd be cool on the podcast, but she unfortunately will not be able to make it.
So, just to clarify, rules on this thing are spoilers fully.
I mean, yes, it's been out for a while. Spoilers are fine.
Yeah, we're discussing the movie.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure.
it is. Even the one we talked about last time was 2020, and I think this one was a very good pick because it's Tarantino's amazing. If you don't like Tarantino, I think the only bad thing about this movie is if you don't like Tarantino, you're not going to like the movie. It had a
Sure.
lot of his shots, a lot of his awesome soundtrack, some of his serious jokey scenes, and
And those amazing set pieces, man.
yeah,
Set
they
pieces are
rebuilt
great.
some old school some restaurants or some places are still there, but they remodeled them to make them look like how
The
they did.
neon budget on this movie alone must have been incredible.
Yeah, all those old Hollywood signs
Just to
firing up.
rebuild, they had to rebuild all the signs. The amount of practical sets, that they built.
No
is really
CGI in
amazing.
Tarantino movies. That's for damn sure.
Not much. I assume they would have had to use some for, set extensions and stuff.
Yeah,
but-
maybe explosions or some kind of compositing, but
I really felt like I was in Hollywood in 1969, and a little further than that. It was definitely kind of a period piece, that slice of life. And I like how he even went so far to include commercials of the era to kind of give a certain atmosphere and sense of the time.
He leaned real hard into nostalgia. It's one of the very first comments in my notes I made. It's just like, this is nostalgia bait. This is crazy.
Oh,
just
yes.
how it involved it all.
Mhm.
Really
Well, it was
is.
like a love story to just the temperature and zeitgeist of Hollywood then, and
Yes.
It was
To
a
that
love letter.
last moment of the
Like-
60s to
yeah,
the way that cinema was and the Hollywood was in that moment, which really did change, with the Manson murders.
The opener, though, where they're doing the interviews from him in the 50s, I mean, the aspect ratios and the way that it was filmed seemed very authentic. I'm fairly certain Old Boy was filming on the, 15 millimeter or whatever it was that the film they used at the time, because it felt as authentic as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so after that period.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really they went to a lot of trouble to keep it feeling real. And there's not a lot of people who know more about just movies and the history of movies than Tarantino. He's a hell of a student of the art form.
Yes, this was definitely him kind of showing off his knowledge and deep love for Hollywood, not just movies, but Hollywood.
And the way they showed Sharon Tate, like she was just an innocent, like child of the art that wanted to be an actress, and she was just giddy when she was able to, and just be a part of that life. But,
yeah.
I mean, I'm
we
sure
open on her after the car scene going to the Playboy Mansion, and we get a whole Playboy Mansion long shot on the dolly, right? Like where they're up in the air. They just keep filming. It was crazy. It was really good shot. Like it was amazing.
A lot of celebrity cameos in that. There was Mama Cass, Steve McQueen.
Yep.
Others. Well, even Burt Reynolds was in one of the commercials in the Red Apple cut. Somebody playing Burt Reynolds.
Wasn't he? Oh no, it was Kurt Russell that was the narrator for like the second half of the movie. I think
believe
it was.
Burt.
Yes.
Somebody told me that you were saying that Burt was supposed to play the.
Originally, that's what I heard, or that's what I read. Tarantino said he had Burt Reynolds locked in for the part at the Spawn movie ranch, and
as George Spawn.
Yeah,
because we love George. But,
because Rick Dalton's supposed to be him, right?
Yeah,
he's based off of Burt Reynolds, and the movie's based on Burt Reynolds and his stunt double.
Yes, I think Hal Needham was his name, I believe, and they were pretty tight.
They worked. Hal Needham was a stunt coordinator and a director. He directed, of course, a lot of his most famous movies.
I definitely recognize the name.
Smokey and the Bandit.
And they
Hooper, a lot of those things.
And they set up Chekhov's flamethrower at the very beginning too, with the Inglourious Basterds callback.
Both with the clip and then showing it in the background.
Yeah, that they just plant that seed.
The tools.
They plant that seed that he has a flamethrower somewhere.
But if I may, my favorite thing in this movie is how much he really is. So this was my second time watching it. And the first time I did not know it was a, it was part of his, revenge movies where he was going to, do his alternate spin on history.
Yeah, alternate ending history, yeah.
And, what he does so well is he's kind of manipulating based on, what we know, what we don't know as far as, the history. It's like,
very meta.
The scenes of her going to see her movie are so... what's the word I'm looking for? The fact that you are like, oh shit, she's gonna die soon, and here she is just trying to, really.
Well, if you paid attention, you kind of knew what was going on. Like if you caught on to them saying Charlie, then you knew.
Well, yeah,
but otherwise,
Charlie showed up at the very beginning. Like he was the first. He was that dude that knocked on the door. At the Polanski residence.
Well, the movie was done so good that they never directly said or mentioned any important like giveaways, and the whole ending just naturally formed.
The assumption is that Charlie Manson's out there, that Sharon Tate's gonna die, know that they kill everyone in the house, which is why the scene when Cliff goes to the Spawn Ranch is so tense.
Yeah.
Because you're like, my daughter was watching it with me, and she's like, they're going to fucking kill this guy. This guy's going to die.
He walks out that door, he puts on the sunglasses, the music kicks in, and we're treated to a wealth of young Hollywood. There's everybody from Sydney Sweeney to Kevin Smith's kid to a bunch of other...
Margaret Qualley.
Lena Dunham.
Oscar winner Mikey Madison. Who went on to do Nora?
Oh, okay. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
But it's young Hollywood. Austin Butler.
Sadie, I think. Austin Butler. Another one who gets torched at the end. She has an Oscar.
Oh. She screamed for a solid 5 minutes there.
Dude, so I was going to say that can of dog food must have pushed her bone to her brain or something. She was.
Well, that's wolf tooth dog food.
grisly, and it's so sad. The level of violence is so satisfying because
Yeah.
you know what and again, it's based on the fact that you know what they were going to do. So it's very, the sheer brutality of it is very satisfying because you know that, Sharon Tate got stabbed 16 times.
Oh yeah, and she's pregnant, 8 months pregnant.
Right, and she was 8 months pregnant, and she begged them to just kidnap her so she could give birth before they murder her.
And what happened? They knocked on the wrong door and got Cliff Booth and company.
And they end up
on acid, yeah.
On
That's
acid.
amazing. And I'll say, with Tarantino, one of the things with his movies is they're always, really interesting and fun and smart, but they are often a little on the cold side. This one has a lot more emotion to me, actually. It's the emotion of this movie is actually, I think, more genuine than a lot of his films. I think, again, that poignancy of her story, of her, on the verge of her dreams coming true of being an actress, of
Rick Dalton's fading dreams.
Fading dreams. I mean, Leo and that, all that stuff, just dealing with the idea that he's a has-been, and that's all very authentic and very real and very depressing.
Yeah, because that was a real time because you had the rugged cowboys that needed to be more good-looking and kind of finesse their way on the camera now. Like they were being phased out.
Cowboys, pomades.
And look, Tarantino knows a lot about actors who've been kind of put out to pasture because he's literally resuscitated the careers of a few of those guys.
Travolta is certainly
Travolta,
one.
Robert
Forrester.
A little bit of Bruce Willis.
These are people who had, whose careers were kind of. Bruce was actually still big when he cast him.
One of the things that stood out to me was kind of like you were talking about. It was like 3 parallel tracks of Hollywood that we were seeing as main characters. There was Shannon Tate in the beginning of her career. There was, Leo there with the middle of his career, and then his stunt guy who nobody liked, nobody wanted, and had rumors about him, and he was just struggling to buy dog food for fuck's sake, right?
I don't dig him.
Yeah,
right.
I don't dig the vibe.
And my wife doesn't dig him, man.
And then we saw why in the scene with Bruce Lee, which I thought was an interesting choice on Tarantino's part.
Yeah, that was also a bit embellished with him like imagining it, but pretty funny.
It was
a lot of fun.
Bruce's daughter was really
pissed.
Was pissed about it.
Yeah.
She took issue
Well,
with
sure.
It,
I mean,
she did not.
It would
like
be
the
weird
portrayal
if she
of her
didn't
dad
say
that way.
something. So let her get her bite in.
But
we know the reason why it was written that way was to prove the stuntman was a tough son of a bitch, right? So that way it would justify his fighting at the end.
Yeah. I want to hang out with Cliff. He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
And I think the parallels between he and Dalton are crazy because Dalton's all about the outer image and if he's looking good, he feels good. But if he it gets some shit on him, then he feels like shit. Whereas Cliff is just laid back and he kind of doesn't give into the bullshit but he can't get a grip and just do the business like Dalton can.
Now, I don't know if you guys know, but Tarantino wrote a novelization of the movie.
I read it.
In the book, in the book, it is explicitly stated, Cliff totally killed his wife.
He killed his wife.
Oh, he did? Damn, I don't want to hang out with him. I mean, if we hung out, it would have probably came out casually after a few, chill moments.
I'm just saying, the movie chose to be ambiguous on it, but
except he's sitting there with a harpoon gun while she's wailing on him emotionally, and he's just got this look on his face like, I can't take this shit anymore.
Well, they never established how she literally died. She killed with a harpoon gun.
There's an implication. Sometimes
they don't say. They just say, and of course, by the way, the Zoe Bell cameo. You gotta always enjoy when he sticks Zoe Bell in his movies.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're on a boat and there's clearly an implication. This is one of those cases.
I did also I really love the way Cliff and Rick's relationship is, the kind of one-sided friendship
Mhm.
of it.
Oh yeah, he takes care of
Rick
him.
is not a good friend to Cliff, but Cliff is actually a friend to Rick, or at least
Yep.
it seems he is.
Yeah, there's like they're the way they are and the way they're portrayed is like needs to be reversed. Cliff needs to be the Hollywood guy making Hollywood decisions, and Dalton just needs to be, I don't know, in
I
therapy.
don't know, man. I really got the feeling that Cliff would have not been able to handle the pressure and the the things required of a Hollywood star. He seemed like he really wanted to be left alone and just kind of be a chill guy having fun
Yeah.
and making his money.
Yeah,
And
But
handle
also
his
seemed
load.
like
he just want him and his
if you
dog.
pushed him too far, he would punch people in the fucking face.
That's Cliff Booth.
Yeah,
Tarantino's
he had a
alluded
lot of
to
funny
Rick
lines.
Dalton being bipolar, and which would explain a lot. The highs and to the quick lows. And yeah, Rick's being taken care of by his stuntman.
And can we acknowledge yet again how fucking good an actor Leonardo DiCaprio is?
Oh yeah, he's playing an
Yes.
actor, playing an actor acting,
Right.
and he has to
Playing an
be
actor,
bad at it
sometimes being a
first,
good
and
actor,
then blow you
sometimes being,
away.
You know,
Yep.
He has to
being
show
an actor,
both
being
sides.
an actor pretending to improv or forget his
Hey,
lines.
hey,
It's
Leonardo,
just-
that was a bit too good. Okay, could you just tone it down? And in this
By
scene,
the
he's
way-
having trouble acting. You're doing great.
Bino Bronco
And the scene with
Buster, what did you say?
Oliphant, where he's, Oliphant's trying to just keep it cool and keep going while Leo's.
He's like, let's start over. Let's fucking start over.
Line.
And he just keeps eating his food and just kind of keep. I mean,
He's a professional.
That
Kinda
shit's so
looking
fucking
around at
real.
the crew.
So, you know what is real, and but I'm sure people love bringing this up. When Dalton went back in his trailer and he was bitching himself out in the mirror, and it's just like jump cuts of him throwing a tantrum. All of that was apparently DiCaprio's idea. He's like, I need to like mess up some lines, and then that whole scene was kind of like improv. And
Every
he's like,
actor has done that.
yeah,
Has fucked up and then gone in the bathroom and then just
I'm done drinking. I'm done drinking, and he like chugs it. Let's do it.
When I
Yeah.
did my first play, I excused myself, went to the bathroom, threw up violently, washed my face, and came back out.
Looked
Didn't tell
myself in the
anybody.
mirror and said, I'm going to blow your fucking brains out.
Yeah. Practice my goddamn lines. I don't look like I fucking practice them.
Man, there were some good lines. A lot of funny
Great
stuff.
writing.
So, I mean, there were some good quotes when, what's his name? Cliff was just sitting, getting drunk. He was like, to all my wife and all my sweethearts, may they never meet.
Which dude turned around and used in the movie that they were shooting.
No,
right?
no,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
the script. He was practicing.
Oh, that was the script.
Yep.
Yes.
Just like
yeah.
the
He was
what
was
it,
rehearsing.
Oh, that was when Dalton
the
was in
casual-
the bath, but it showed
Yeah,
Cliff
he's
on
He was in
listening
the
to
screen.
the
pool
tape.
listening, practicing.
He has
Mm.
right.
For
He
the
has
shoot
somebody
tomorrow.
doing the other guy's lines.
Right. Just
Pretty
like the
cool.
casual racism with what was the chili pepper daughter
Little chili
stuff
pepper.
that kept popping up. It's like Jesus.
I appreciated that, and when he was doing
Don't
the
let
Italian
Mexicans
movies,
see you cry.
don't let the Mexicans see you crying. But when he was doing the movies, the Italian movies, one of them was something, Red Blood, Red whatever, based
yes.
on the novel. The only good Indian is a dead Indian.
Red blood, red skin.
Red, yes. And I mean, if you go back in history, Hollywood was racist as fuck during those times.
absolutely.
As a Native American, to the point where they wouldn't even get Native American actors to play Native Americans. They'd get
They
Italian guys.
barely
and
do
such.
now.
Or
I mean,
or even was it? Yeah,
Well-
Italians. I think even Jewish guys sometimes.
We have Pacino here playing a Jewish gentleman, which I
who
believe
goes-
was the first time for that. Maybe I think.
Pacino
Yes,
playing
so
that may be.
who goes real hard at Rick. Like when you play the heavy like that, you're typecast. Like you're screwed because you'll always be the guy the new guy needs to punch.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
Wasn't he partially
was that
Jewish in Casino?
classic
He wasn't in
Pacino
Casino.
isn't in Casino.
Oh, Pacino. I'm thinking. Never mind.
That's
You're
De
thinking of
Niro,
Don
who did-
Rickles.
yes, who is playing
Yes.
Jewish, and he's playing Eli Rothstein,
Rothstein.
or something.
Yeah.
Sam
So,
Rothstein.
yeah. Sam
Well,
Sam
Rothstein.
Rothstein.
He plays
Side note-
Cuban in Scarface. So.
You-
Yes,
you
played
pointed out something-
Cuban and
very diverse.
Cuban and Scarface, and Puerto Rican in
Carlito's way.
Carlito's way.
Mira, Carlito.
So what did y'all think about the split in the movie? Because like the first half or 3/4 of the movie, right? The first 2 acts of the movie is just like people going, Hollywood doing Hollywood shit, basically.
Yeah, it was just
right?
showing
Like,
the
there's not a lot of-
relations and the world they lived in, and
I mean, it
kind
was
of setting
fun.
things up, but yeah, then it was like 6 months later, and they're
Yeah.
getting a bro divorce.
Yeah, I mean, I think the time jump, I mean, is necessary for I
Yeah.
think for a few narrative reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the Sharon Tate stuff that's early on, I don't think would have worked as well if she was pregnant for the whole movie.
From the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, I think the fact that she
That's a
is
good point.
youthful and beautiful and sexy,
Vibrant,
and that
yeah.
all these guys are talking about and you've got fucking Steve McQueen talking about how desirable she is.
Never stood a chance.
I never stood a
Yeah.
chance, exactly.
She
And
goes
That
that
after
was
the
a good point.
doesn't
12-year-old
work,
faces.
and that does not
Yep.
work if she's 8 months pregnant. It just does
Also
not.
true. Yeah.
So I think for that reason it's important, and also we needed to it gave us a chance to see them before the wheels were fully coming off, and it just left us at a sadder place so we could really appreciate that
Yeah.
redemptive moment. And
Yeah, even
I find that final shot as the camera comes up over
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
yeah, and they're just gonna have a normal night the way it was supposed to be.
She comes and she gives him a hug, and simultaneously he's got this moment where he's going to meet Polanski, and he's maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
And she's alive, and so is the other three who were again.
Yeah, they're gonna have a good night
brutally
together.
murdered.
Folgers coffee air, yeah. Yep.
I found it incredibly. I mean, I got choked up at that.
Yeah,
scene.
well, that's what I mean. Like, this movie was laid out in pace to kind of like
Just
hit
beautiful.
towards, if you
It
know,
was beautiful.
and think of how like actors and people that knew those people involved watching this. But also, if you're like a newer generation and you have no idea about what you're gonna see or who these people are, it was still built up in a good way.
Yeah.
Like they involved everything they showed in the first two acts, and it just all crescendoed at the end, and much like a Glorious Bastards, like it just all fucking went down, and you're like, wow, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
You don't really have
But
to know.
Glorious Bastards is satisfying in it's such a fantasy of because it's like, yeah, Hitler's dead, and I mean, it's
towards
late in the
them.
war, so most of the Jews are already dead, but I mean, it's enjoyable, and the idea that the war ends a bit early and Hitler dies a shitty way instead of but this was so specific, and so these are very specific real people who are dead, but in this scenario are alive.
They get a
makes
happy
the
ending.
stakes so much more personal than the stakes are in Django or in
Yeah, Django's a good example of the crescendo ending of satisfaction.
Right. Well, those are his three, alternate history revenge fantasy, right? The bad guys get what's coming to them, and the good guys, have a victory. But this one made it was just so much more personal because, again, they're real people, and we know how this story actually ends. And I mean, Sharon Tate's sister, she's like, it was like seeing my sister again. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And they fleshed out the whole family. Even Dakota Fanning was playing
Yeah,
Squeaky
she was Ginger or something, or
Was that
what's
Dakota or Elle? I can't remember which one.
what was her name? Missy.
One of the Fannings played
She was
Squeaky,
playing Squeaky Frome.
Squeaky,
who was like his
Squeaky,
right hand lady.
Squeaky, who did not go to jail for the Manson murders. She went.
Well, you
to
can't say justice doesn't work in America.
She ultimately, I looked this up today because I couldn't remember. She went to jail in 1975 for attempted assassination of Gerald Ford.
Classic
she showed
Squeaky.
up at a Gerald Ford event with a gun, and she had 4 rounds in the clip, but she hadn't chambered a round, and so she couldn't shoot it. And the secret
she was probably the only person at the Gerald Ford event, so she wasn't hard to find.
And in 1965,
she's like, it's the perfect
because
crime.
of the Kennedy assassination, they had made attempted assassination a major, life sentence. Mm-hmm. So she got a life sentence. She ended up serving 34 years. What's that?
Was it not before? You said they made it a major offense. I feel like attempted assassination.
Attempted. They made it so it was a life sentence. Attempted assassination as its own crime. Apparently, I don't know. I didn't look up the details. Apparently, it was not its own thing before then. So this was 65. They had changed the law, so it was a life. So she got a life sentence for attempted. I don't know exactly what the law was before then. I didn't look that up.
Well, they got lax after Lincoln.
Tonight.
She did ultimately get out of jail. She was like in love with Charles the whole time, Mr. Manson. But yeah, she did not go to. She did not participate in either the Tate or LaBianca murders. So she got off.
Well, that scene in the movie where the quote flower girl drove off and got freaked out and left.
Oh, that was Uma Thurman's daughter.
Yeah, Maya Hawke.
Yes,
I forgot she was in it. This is actually my
Ethan
third
Hawke's
time seeing the
daughter.
movie, and Maya Hawke popping up was cool because I really didn't know her acting until Stranger Things. And
I didn't know that Sydney Sweeney was in it because, of course, I didn't know who the hell she was until this.
Yeah,
there's a lot of other younger
now.
people that I can't remember, but it's chock full of younger Hollywood. The scene where Rumor Willis, Bruce and Demi's, one of their daughters, scene where the blonde goes to visit Sharon Tate and she's got a baby and they've got a baby and they're just eating fruit. That was Rumor Willis.
Is that Rumor? Okay. I knew she was in it, but I wasn't sure who she played.
And that scene always stood out to me because it's very, very quick. And it just really shows a scene of her smiling, this great, beautiful smile on her face. But it made me wonder, was it like, can she not act? And it went terribly, so they just put in that shot so she'd be in. It seemed very rushed over. And it's not important, but it just stuck in my head.
But yes, he piled a lot of Nepo babies into the movie for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, it was Hollywood.
It's almost suspicious, like he went out of his way to do it.
Well, it kind of falls in line with like its love note to Hollywood. Like, I'm going to use the future of Hollywood.
He had to put Uma's kid in it. I mean, what is he not going to cast her?
But Austin Butler, that was the first time I'd seen him, and I noticed him. I was like, I don't know who this kid is, but he's going to fucking be good. And sure enough, next thing he's playing as Elvis Aaron Presley. So, more or less. He's got a way of picking talent. I mean, he got Sam Jackson, early Tim Roth. The guy knows acting.
Yeah, he casted Travolta in that role that I never thought he would be good.
Yeah. I've liked almost all of his casting except for Tater Channing.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's good. I mean his casting and just his pacing of the movie, the fight scene, like when it starts to pop off at the end, it was set up where the dog was hungry, kind of pissed. Like Cliff was fucked up on acid, so when it was time for him to know, oh, she stabbed me, let me take her fucking face off, and he didn't stop. He just hulked out on her and.
That was a brilliant. He's stabbed,
he's always been
and he's
good
tapping it.
At violence.
It was the telephone just jamming her face in it, and then continuing to find things to like mash her.
She came at him. He rolled.
But see, again, he can get away with that level of violence only because we know what they were going to do.
Oh yeah, and it was exactly.
The movie requires you to know what's going to happen. To have some knowledge. To really fully appreciate, because otherwise you'd be like, "Wow, that was crazy." But it's like, no, fuck them, fuck all of them.
And even if you didn't know, like they were the intruders, they had sadistic thoughts. Like it was definitely premeditated in the car conversation before. So even if you didn't know that they were the Manson murderers and what happened that night, you're still like, oh well, he's just fucked up and defending himself.
Yeah, but
that was set up by him getting stabbed in the thigh. He taps it, and you realize, okay, he just got stabbed. He's got free reign to defend himself.
Yeah.
This is Cliff Booth. He's not gonna. He's gonna be Cliff Booth.
And then that's when he was kind of like, "Oh, I am in danger. Like you are a threat. Like you're not just some girl." But
I feel like it gave him. He was happy about it because it gave him an excuse to like, oh, now I can let go.
Exactly.
I'm in the right. I don't have to worry about getting charged for manslaughter.
I think he was just
again.
so very stoned by that. He's like, hey, look, there's a thing sticking out of me. And you also, I presume, there's the, I can't play because I've now got something stuck in me and I'm compromised physically.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt it was he was happy, like now I can let go and just show no mercy. He's a killer at heart. He was a war hero.
Processing information very slowly because of his
situation
at that point.
When they came in,
that's just how I read it. But
he was.
I think it's open to
I'm the devil.
various
Nah, something more
interpretive
stupid like Rex or.
I love that.
That's it.
He goes, yeah, he said, I'm the devil and I'm here to do devil
Evil
shit.
devil shit or evil shit.
But when he tells the cop, he explains, because he says, because it is the lie. He says, I'm the devil, I'm here to do devil's work. But he goes, I'm here to do devil and I'm here to do devil shit. And they're like,
Yeah.
he said devil shit? Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, he said I'm paraphrasing.
Again, it's funny, but it just completely defangs these fucking assholes. They're just a bunch of fucking clowns.
Did you know this?
Nothing but disdain for them.
At the end, when the cops were there and they're interviewing people, and Francesca's hysterical, but the cops were bringing out bags of evidence, and they kind of zoomed in on them. I'm wondering if that's supposed to be the murder weapons that would have been used in Sharon Tate, but now they're evidence in murders of the Manson family, kind of like a turn of tables, kind of nod to like the famous evidence.
Tex's gun had been used in a previous murder.
Yeah. And then the knives that they had that night, they probably went in detail of
I don't know.
How they
I don't know.
prepared.
I don't know that any of them, except for Tex and Charlie, had committed some. Were really the convicts. The other guys were, other than were just a bunch of stupid hippies who were genuinely just like, oh, Charlie wants us to do this.
If you remember in the beginning where you first see them, they're walking through the street singing a song.
Singing the song.
That's actually Manson wrote that song, and then they were singing it. Manson, his story is he wanted to be a songwriter and a singer. He had a little bit of talent. Got a Beach Boys covered one of his songs, but he never got his big break, and he didn't handle that well. Didn't
he live with the Beach Boys at one point, or he recorded something with them?
Something. He was good friends with Dennis. Yeah. Something.
And the house had belonged to a record guy who he had tried to get a deal with. That was the Terry he was looking for. Was a record guy. That was, considered a possible motive for why he picked the house. Was, just because it related to his non-existent music career.
Something failed artists as murderers. Seems like a theme there.
I mean, him and Hitler.
Yeah, that's two at least. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's really a streak at two. It's definitely weird it's happened twice.
Yeah, I mean, but you're also talking about people who, are charismatic and psychopaths. So I don't know. And then apparently, according to new research, Hitler at least had a tiny penis.
That's good to know.
It's science now, apparently.
I feel bad for Ava.
I read a whole article about it. Yeah, that's why you should feel bad about Ava.
You know she was
for Ava for that.
There's no way, yeah.
Ava, who had the worst honeymoon ever. It's like, you think your honeymoon was bad.
So what did you think about him? He was a TV star, gave it up to pursue a movie career. He's getting cast in The Heavy. What did you think about him taking the opportunity to go do these spaghetti westerns, this niche thing overseas?
Well, it's interesting because he obviously sees it as a failure, and we don't ever find out whether it would have turned into something. Obviously, the guy who that all worked out super great for was Clint Eastwood. He went from a TV western to doing
Rawhide to Sergio Leone.
Yeah, and
action.
Mama Leone.
And of course, then he became a massive success because of it. Although what's his name? Pacino points out he's working with the second best spaghetti western director. So
Sergio Carbucci.
But yeah, it may not have worked out as well. But I mean, one of the that sense of what do I do here? Is it better to be a failure with work, or is it better to? I mean, I think these are very real dilemmas for people in the movie business, and I think it really did a job of conveying that aspect of it.
Yes, I think
that you're putting a career together. It's not just the art of it.
I think that was the most appealing part of it, not just the setting, because I do love that time frame in the late 60s to late 70s. But, it's about acting and actors. And, most of them are just, their heads are up their own ass. They're very vulnerable. They're full of shit and this and that. But what fascinating people to to watch him melting down in the trailer, or, this 8-year-old girl that
breaking down in front of what was her name? I forget her name.
I can't remember. Mirabelle was her character name.
Pumpkin Puss.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Called nicknames, but I'll let it go this time because you're so upset.
Yeah, she had the emotional intelligence of his age, and he was an 8-year-old at that time.
She was the most emotionally intelligent of any of the actors, actresses, or crew in the show.
But another thing that's interesting about it, though, is when it takes place. 1969 was in the midst of such a seismic time in Hollywood. It was. That's when all the rules were coming apart. 1960. I may get my dates wrong. 1967, you had Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate. In 1960, I think it was 68 or 69, you had Easy Rider.
Yeah, Easy Rider with Nicholas.
So the whole Hollywood system that he's participating in is about to completely change, right?
Yeah, you went from pomades and hair gel to fucking long-haired hippies.
Right. Ended up taking over Hollywood. That ended up being the dominant force. And, Polanski, to a degree, he wasn't an American filmmaker, but to a degree, he was a part of that change, in that his movies were not Hollywood. I mean, in his case, they were European movies, coming.
It was like a rise of counterculture to the norm, where
yes,
everybody had a steady diet of westerns up until that point. Those were the superhero movies of the day and shows. That's what sold.
Right.
And things changed.
I like the random commercials they had. It added to the world they were building.
Love them. Those are maybe my favorite part. I've always loved his soundtracks, but what he did with that, I thought was just brilliant.
The Batman and Robin radio show call-in at the end, that was just fantastic.
Yeah. Now, when you guys
that's a real one, though. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's an actual,
Yeah, those were all commercials.
Come on down for the color TV and hang out with me and Batman.
Tanya tanning butter.
He inserted Rick into actual content, if you will.
That was the CGI, I think. Yeah.
That was done CGI. They put him into the FBI
Great Escape
show. That whole show exists. All that stuff happened.
Yeah.
They just put him in.
Well, they refilmed the Burt Reynolds commercial.
The Great Escape.
That was in the extras. The extras had the Red Apple cigarettes commercial.
Take a bite out of Red Apple.
And I guess I didn't show in theaters, but it was in the credits at the end.
It was.
There's a Red Apple in the credits,
Yeah.
But,
Factoid, Red Apple.
I don't know if it's... But, the Red Apple cut...
It was a fan edit put in chronological order with all the extra scenes.
Deleted scenes. But also Red Apple, if you guys have ever seen any other Tarantino movies, Red Apple is the brand of cigarettes that shows up. It showed up in Pulp Fiction. It showed up
starting
in
with Pulp Fiction.
Kill Bill.
It was in Hateful Eight as whatever, and that's like his universe brand. It was in Hateful Eight.
They've been around since the 1800s.
Right. Yeah.
There was some posters in Kill Bill for Red Apple.
Yes. He has a few brands that exist in the Tarantino verse that Red Apple is one of them.
But he really made you feel the time, that era.
He did. It was very immersive, that whole aspect of it. It did not,
Serious props to the prop people, the set design, all like you said, all the neon, all of that stuff. Like, it is amazing how well they captured the colors and the spirit and the motif of
that kind of gaudy
they
neon.
The money to recreate as much of that as possible, and they did have to go back and install all those neon signs to make a lot of that happen.
One of the little small things that I thought was kind of fun was, obviously this is pre-cell phones and such. People read. People were reading books. People would carry around a little paperback when they have time to read. People read.
Yep.
Even the subplot of her Sharon Tate going to a bookstore for Roman or whatever. But,
I also noticed
people used to read before cell phones.
And they had those tiny little books that,
you could put in your back pocket.
Right.
And
when Sharon Tate went to go to the theater and the person, the girl in the box before Sharon went in, she's like, "Oh, can I have a photo?" And she just takes her normal photo with just her. And I'm like, you take a selfie, like get in there with her. Like nobody like, "Oh, I took this photo. That's the camera right there." Like you could have been in the photo.
So that was based on a true story. Tarantino, apparently one of his first movies or whatever, was on a date and he went to a movie theater, and he's told this story before. You can look it up. And I don't know if it was True Romance or Pulp Fiction, but he said to the person in the box, "What if I'm in the movie?" And like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I directed this movie or whatever," and they let him in for free and blah, 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 and he wrote it into the movie. But Tarantino actually did that and said, "Actually, I'm in this. Can I get in for free?"
Yeah, that's cool.
It is, wouldn't you feel like an asshole if they said no?
Yeah, I kept thinking to her, I'm like, just pay for the fucking movie. She's got plenty of money. She's,
I would have came back when I knew more
she'd
famous.
Been in a few movies, and fucking Polanski was, at it was.
But
peaking.
how will she feel special?
Fair
exactly.
enough.
What up, Woody?
Hey, Woody.
Tarantino, I think I only found out this week was in an episode of The Golden Girls.
Yeah, he's an Elvis impersonator.
Played Elvis.
And he was originally an Elvis impersonator, and he got that role. But like in real life, he would impersonate Elvis Presley, which shows up in True Romance, written by him, Clarence Worley, Christian Slater's mentor. They call him. He's seeing Elvis in his mind, giving him advice.
That's Val Kilmer in the movie.
That's right.
You never would have known that, right?
Yeah.
Other than the credits, you would never would have guessed that.
Just to check, Woody, are you showing your voice in the chat?
Let me check. How do I do it?
It's in the party setting. Like you go to the party itself, and there's like 3 dots you click on. Another quote I really liked was, in the Bruce Lee scene, he's like talking junk.
Yes.
Like Cliff is like, he's trying to be like, my hands are like lethal weapons. I'll go to jail if I kill you. He's like, anyone that accidentally kills anyone in a fight goes to jail. You dick. It's manslaughter.
It's called manslaughter.
And I think it's an excuse that you dancers have you, so you don't have to get in a real fight.
Yeah, you just talk big, you dumbass.
Well, that's a great idea, Kato. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cliff had the best lines for me. Like the way when he did the acid and was like, "Oh, away we go,"
and away we go.
But then when he's like in the stretcher and it's like a callback, he's like, "Away we go."
And I love the scene where he's in the stretcher. He's just about to leave, and Rick goes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, Cliff, you're a good friend. I try.
I try. Yeah, just make sure you pay me. Jesus, give me a raise.
I'll see you tomorrow, Cliff. Bring bagels." Like that's.
It's great. Yeah.
I loved his performance.
I appreciate that it's not as quotable as a lot of his movies. A lot of his movies are so busy being quotable that again they feel less authentic, and
it's stuffed more with quips than with depth there. Yeah.
Right, the character, there's only so much you can do quips and feel like a real you're actually listening to real people have real conversations.
Yeah. Otherwise you're just being clever, and that gets old
right
quickly.
Like if you look at the scene in Pulp Fiction, at the diner with
Tim Roth and
no, not Tim Roth.
Amanda
with John and Uma.
Jules and Vincent.
Vincent when he takes
without legal
out,
currency, that's what you are. You're a fucking
when
bum.
he takes out the wife. And they're at the.
They're talking about the $5 shake and stuff.
Oh,
yes. That whole sequence is, of course, great and memorable and really funny, but it's incredibly stylized. They are not real people having a real conversation. They are, characters, having very memorable dialogue, and again, it works. It's that movie, launched million very bad knockoffs.
Well, I think he's one of the
and
few directors that can walk that line of
generation
style and substance.
Tarantino bros, but
he can pull it off though. He can do style and substance, where a lot of them can only do one or the other. I think Steven Soderbergh does it well, but there's not many directors other than that I can think that can be stylish as well as make a good picture.
It's all Elmore Leonard.
Well, I think there's plenty who can do
yes,
who can be stylish and still tell a good story. What I mean is that you know, as I said before, I think a lot of his movies have left me a little cold.
Steven Soderbergh?
No, Tarantino.
Oh.
And I don't mean I haven't enjoyed them. I mean they've left me a little cold.
You mean like you feel like you rooted for somebody bad, or you weren't satisfied?
No, I feel like, you know, look, ideally I like to have an emotional response to a movie, and they're not the most, you know, emotionally gratifying films.
Yeah, agreed. They're more focused on being cool.
They're very cool, exactly. Yeah. His movies are super duper cool.
But I would say there's more to them than just that.
Fonzie for sure. But they are not necessarily, you know, they're not necessarily going to move me.
They're not really
emotionally.
plucking the heartstrings.
And that's okay because they don't have to. But and one of the, you know, Pulp Fiction probably leaves me the coldest of his movies. I mean, it was, you know, it's a, yeah. I don't find it at all emotionally engaging. Pulp Fiction.
Even the rape scene where fucking two enemies, you know, he goes back to help, you know.
No, because it's ridiculous and it's funny and it's kind of silly.
You say that because it's never happened to you. That's
fair enough.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how me and Smurf met. I'm not going to tell you who was who, but.
I was the police.
Mr. Suit about to spend the rest of his short life in excruciating pain.
I kind of had a connection to Dalton just because he was so transparent when he cried. I knew he was just because he knew he looked bad and that's all he cared about.
He was
so like I can relate to that, but like it's not my full identity.
He's clearly codependent on Cliff. He's codependent on Cliff. There's no doubt about it.
But the scene where that little girl says, "That's the best acting I've ever seen in my life,"
and he wept.
Said that, and he's just so, you know, he's on the verge of tears. Then I was like,
but you could tell
great.
He meant it. Yeah. Like he wasn't bullshit. Like he was really that flattered, and he felt like an actor then.
But at the same time, it's kind of ridiculous when a 9-year-old tells you it's the best thing she's seen in her entire life. You know, objectively, you're like, that's a nice compliment, dear. But that's how moved he was because he was so. My point is that yes, he's that.
Epstein loved to hear it.
He was a real person, and it was just such a well-drawn character. Boy. His relationship with Cliff was really well drawn. His flaws were really well drawn. I mean, he was. Just he felt like such an authentic person, and that's why I really, really did enjoy the movie so much, because he really did feel very authentic. It never felt like he was just, you know, a cool character who was gonna, you know, was generated to come up with cool lines.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Jules is the epitome of a cool character. But, you know, I have no idea, is he a real person? He's not necessarily drawn enough to be a real person.
Yeah, they show no vulnerability. They show toughness, but no vulnerability.
Which is not, again, necessarily a criticism. It's a different kind of movie. And what's impressive about this is he takes all of the things he's done in these other movies, but he does imbue it with, you know, and there was a little bit of this in Kill Bill, you know, when like at the end when she reunites with her daughter. I mean, there's a lot of real stuff happening there. But you know, those movies are so overblown with the action and the violence.
Yeah, they're like almost like old school zombie movies with like how violent. I mean, he did Dawn Till Dusk, like that had just the gory, like damn, like makeshift weapons. We're gonna guerrilla warfare your ass to the ground.
Oh, that was him partnering up with Rodriguez.
Yeah, he wrote Rodriguez, it, if I remember right. Rodriguez directs it.
So yeah, I like his style. I like the world he builds. So I was shocked when he did this. It was kind of out of left field, but I like after knowing the ending and like his style, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
He probably has
What's
so many other ideas, but not enough time to produce it. Do you guys think he should pass those off or the unfinished scripts off for somebody else to do, or just
I think the motherfucker needs to give up this bullshit of I'm making 10 movies. This is my 9th. I got one more.
Thank you.
Like, all right, you're a filmmaker.
Fucking men.
I've never seen another person that seems to love filmmaking as much as him. So why the fuck would you stop? Why? I don't believe he's going to stop. I think he says he will, and then 2 years he's going to come back with something because a man like that can't not
He
work.
won't make stuff because he's like, oh shit, I've been telling people now for a couple of decades that my next movie's my last movie, so I got to make sure it's really fucking great. It's like, you know what? You can just make whatever the fuck you want. If that was true, you never should have made Death Proof. Then you're a fucking asshole because and he's kind of acknowledged. You threw one away with Death Proof, and you know what? That's fine. That movie's still fun. I
had a real emotional connection to Death
Proof.
Proof.
Make a Star Trek just for laughs. Who gives
I
a
don't
shit?
I don't think he has it within him to stop. I think he's going to be working to the day he dies.
Really? I thought he said that
do?
because once he gets older, he won't be able to perfect as he wanted to, and he was like, "I'm just going to stop if he gets to that."
It's bullshit. It's because
doing...
Coppola made some shitty movies, and Scorsese's movies weren't quite as edgy as they used to be, and you had some of these older
was a
filmmakers.
masterpiece.
What were you saying, TK?
I was gonna say maybe he'll keep doing movies, but he's only doing 10 originals, right? Like you were saying, like do a Star Trek or a Star Wars or something, right? Like maybe he'll still do those things.
I would love to see him tackle somebody else's property and take a swing.
I
would love to see
other
that.
IP, but maybe like his stuff, like he's done after 10. Like I can see
well,
that.
The Cliff Booth
Or
movie
he's just gonna
that
go out
David
to peak.
Fincher's making, he wrote, and he's not counting that. But it's just there's a sequel of sorts. It's about Cliff.
It's
Booth.
called The Adventures of Cliff Booth. It's coming to Netflix. It stars Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth, and he's like a Hollywood fixer type guy, and I can't wait.
And David Fincher's directing it from Tarantino's script.
7.
okay.
Tell him what
But this idea that somehow after 10 movies, and it's such an arbitrary number, after 10 movies a director loses his edge. This was his 9th movie, and it is as good as anything he's ever made.
Well, didn't he write another movie early
favorite.
and sold it? Does he counting
True
that
Romance.
True Romance. And
True Romance and
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers.
Is he counting those? Or?
No,
not.
he only counts the movies he's directed.
Yeah, from end to end. Okay.
And Kill Bill counts as one movie.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, tickets available for the whole Bloody Affair.
Yeah.
Get your tickets if you can. I can't, unfortunately.
I would like to take a moment and gush about fucking Brad Pitt and his acting, which at first I didn't know quite how to take. He played it kind of wooden, and then after watching it a few times, I became certain of a couple things. One, he's channeling like 40 to 50% Robert Redford, no doubt about it. Even the way he does this thing with his mouth that Redford does, it's subtle, but he's channeling Robert Redford. I feel like if this movie was made during that time, Redford would have been playing the Cliff Booth part. Also, he was so understated, it somehow worked for the character. At first, I thought the acting wasn't great the first time I saw it, and then watching it, I was like, no, I see exactly what he's doing. He's playing it quiet instead of being an overt character like Pussy or...
His character is what Rick Dalton's characters are supposed to be.
Yes, he's Rick Dalton's fantasy.
Right. He is stoic, but he's the guy. I mean, the scene where he goes and he's
capable, which
and
Rick will never be.
He's like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna see George, and I'm gonna make sure he's okay, and you're not gonna stop me. And then he goes and he's like, I need to make sure that these people aren't. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, it's Cliff. I don't know
Rick
you.
Dalton stunt double.
I'm here to make sure that they're not
taking
advantage of you. It's like, and are you satisfied? Not exactly, but
yeah, not exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy you want looking out for you. He's the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
And
he'll punch a dude out when he feels his fit.
And he is kind of the He's a guy who won't have sex with a 17-year-old.
Prison been trying to
Like,
give
give
me
me
my
that
whole
ID.
life.
Like,
Ain't gonna go for poontang.
and yeah, he's redeemable in that regard. I don't know about killing his wife. And then I was thinking,
She
um,
had it coming. She was terrible.
what if Dalton was put in that situation, like, and it was hit on by her? Like, I think Dalton would be too obsessed with what he has going on to kind of
He would
realize.
fucking stutter and prematurely
No,
ejaculate before his pants even got
no.
off.
He'd be so
Duh,
obsessed with
duh,
what
duh,
he's
duh.
going on. He's like, what? And then when he caught on, he's like, no, get away from me. Like, I have a career. Like, I can't.
He,
He's so obsessed with his image. Like, he would
yeah.
definitely like push her off. And even in the beginning, when he was like, I gotta be in fucking spaghetti westerns, and then he's like, oh, I'm living next to who did he see in the
Roman
car? Was it
Polanski.
Roman?
Director of Rosemary's Fucking Baby. I'm one pool
Yeah,
party
but then
away.
he was like happy, like I'm living shoulder to shoulder with like Hollywood, so everything's okay.
Right.
My image is
And
gonna
he's
be
a real.
okay.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't give a fuck about chasing pussy. He's chasing fame.
Exactly.
He
Is that
doesn't-
pussy
yeah,
gonna make him
that's-
more famous? Like this? Do people
Right.
respect that pussy? Then that's for me.
Do
But he
people
also
respect that pussy?
overthinks and he's anxious and he's
Yeah.
freaking out. And Cliff is just like get this shit done. He doesn't
rolls with it.
overthink it.
Yeah.
He's he
This isn't my
understands
car.
he understands what his relationship with Rick is, and he's there's no pushback. I can fix your antenna, you bet. I can get this dealt with for you. But
This is my boss's car.
you flatten my tire, you're gonna fix it.
Yeah, this work is for you to do.
Yeah. And these are, are kind of are sketchy people, and you do not know what they're gonna do. And he's just like, I'm gonna make this guy do it because that's what that's what's right.
Yeah.
And with no fear.
Speaks
But
to
as
his
you know,
training too. I
he's-
guess he has confidence in his ability to kick that ass.
Well, I mean, as you said, he was a war hero. He's,
Yeah.
Next
he
Audie Murphy.
apparently can beat up Bruce Lee, according to Tarantino.
Well, some of
Tarantino's
us.
explanation for that was that Bruce would be too much, would have been like, was too much of a competition fighter versus, a show fighter versus just a, hey, you or I die fighter, which is what.
Yeah, Tarantino is not the best judge of character when it comes to fighters, actually, though. I mean, let's be real.
Clearly.
All right. Well, some of us have, clearly stated our opinions and have been talking a bit, and there's some of us that have been quiet. To the peanut gallery that hasn't spoken much, what did you think? What are your final thoughts
do you
on
think you
Once
hated
Upon a
about
Time in
it?
Hollywood?
Cloud, is anything you
talking to
hated
you,
about it,
people that
or
have been
Woody?
quiet.
Like we covered a lot, but
I might not have watched it. I watched it back when it was like a current movie, but it's been
All right,
a
so you have
while.
seen it, though.
Yeah, and like the
Okay.
part where the Manson family goes in and he's like tripping balls and he kills them all. That shows up on my TikTok feed every once in a while. That's some good shit. It was a
right.
good movie. It was I felt like the three revenge movies that like somebody
Uh-huh.
called it a revenge trilogy or something. I feel like it's kind of watching the same movie three times.
I don't agree with you, but I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
the
it's
third
kind of
act can be similar as far as all the stuff they peppered in throughout the movie kind of comes together at the end. But
yeah, it was good. It was a little indulgent. It didn't have to be as long as it needed to be, but
Oh, I love that it was so long. I like
I'd
a long
say I
movie.
love the pacing. I mean, I don't. I definitely am against movies being too fucking long. I'm a big fan of short ass movies. As we
Really?
say in my household.
You?
I do. I don't because I don't have the fucking time.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I understand what you're saying, but I
Finding the
feel
time
like
to watch a 2.5, 3 hour
I accidentally
movie. But in
watched the
this
other
case,
3-hour movie, Once Upon a Time in America, and I had to go back and so.
I feel
Well,
like
in
let
this
the
case,
fucking director tell their
well,
story.
First of all, a lot of them do not move well. A lot of people are, if you have a long ass movie and it's poorly paced, and it's long because you just didn't want to cut anything. That's a problem for me. But in this case, I feel like he, again, every scene felt essential. I mean, even, so for example, the first time Cliff drops Rick at home, right? And he goes to and he grabs his car, his piece of shit car, and he drives home.
Yes.
And we see all of him driving down the highway, and it's a lengthy scene. But
that happens to be one of my favorite scenes.
It needs to be there. It sets
the character.
You need to see exactly how fucking far he lives from the Hollywood Hills. Just how it's not enough just that we're gonna see that he lives in a fucking trailer while his friend has the nice,
Yeah.
It shows us that, one, he doesn't live in the hills. He doesn't have the money. Two, this guy's a stuntman. This guy can fucking drive. It seems like he's driving reckless, but he's capable. It shows that he's capable and competent. And then it brings you to, the drive-ins, which he lives behind. He loves the movies. Closest he's going to get to the fucking movies anymore is living behind it with his dog fucking Brandy, reading Sergeant Fury comics and feeding
also, I think he doesn't want to live in
as long as she's good.
Mainstream
full
Hollywood.
Agreement. It felt essential in this movie, and Tarantino is one guy who his movies never feel too long to me. There's plenty of directors who I feel their movies are longer than they need to be, and where I've complained, I'm like, why is this movie so fucking long? But in this case, it did not feel a minute too long, and I would say that about all of Tarantino's movies. I think he cuts them the way he needs to. I'm real eager to see a 4-hour and 40-minute version of fucking Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be biased. I do like long movies because I feel like let the director do what the fuck they want. Whatever, let them do what they want. But also, I feel like I'm biased because I love this movie so much. If it was 7 hours, I would have watched just as many times. That's how much I love it.
I mean, I've seen the 4-hour Hateful Eight version. It was like 3 or 4 hours, and I love it. Like, it can be any boring thing you film, but it's going to have Tarantino's framing and dialogue and maybe the soundtrack. It's just
but everything's in there for a good reason. And when I say, like, when I talk about too long, so for example, and I'm a big believer that filmmakers should always get to realize their vision because that's what you hire them for. But
I know you're a big fan of the Snyder
just
Cut.
Off the top of my head, say a Zack Snyder.
I called that.
I mean, I'm sorry, Justice League was so long. There was full of scenes that are completely inessential.
Oh,
and,
all right. Wait a minute.
They're for color. But
are you talking about the Snyder Cut or the original cut?
The Snyder Cut. The original cut is not a Snyder movie.
No, and he threw everything into the Snyder Cut.
I would never besmirch him by blaming him for the theatrical version.
He overstuffed the Snyder Cut. I felt like I was 4 hours of watching Zack Snyder masturbate himself.
Yeah,
I think we need to use AI to have the Snyder Cut evolve.
It wasn't in there for the audience; it was in there for him.
Right.
And I'm, and again, look, I'm really thrilled that he got to make his Snyder Cut because I think he should have gotten his cut from the get-go. But boy, and I don't want to go too far off topic by bitching about Zack Snyder again. But
well, is there anything else you guys want to cover about this 3.5 hours? I would call really, really good movie that I do would probably watch for a fourth time.
I would like to, if anybody else has anything to say, that's fine. But I'd like to wrap my piece up by saying Tarantino actually did write about the history of what happened after the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and what happened next with these people. There's a deleted scene that's in the Red Apple Cut. The director, Be a Hell's Angel, Rick, that director, you know who I'm talking about? He was directing.
The guy who was directing him in the TV show.
Yes, in one of the deleted scenes, he's talking to Rick about Shakespeare, and he's like, "Oh, I've got this thing coming up called The Executioner. I think it might be good for Papard's already cast, whatever." Tarantino.
Hamlet.
Yeah, people love Hamlet. So the story goes according to Tarantino. The history that continues after the movie is. He gets involved, Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth get involved in a movie called The Exterminator. This is a real movie. My grandmother rented it for me in VHS in like 1984. It's about a Vietnam vet who comes back and gets a flamethrower and just starts wrecking shit. And the story goes that I can't remember if it was Cliff Booth who was playing the Exterminator and Rick was directing, or if it was Rick playing the Exterminator and Cliff was directing. But it went on to say that the both of them had a somewhat popular career in 1980s VHS video rentals. That's where they retained their fame, and they kept making these movies that weren't in the cinema, but you could see them several times a year at your local video store. The new Rick Dalton movie is out, new Cliff Booth. To the point, and he went up to the point where not about a couple of years ago, after maybe a year after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, he actually wrote an obituary for Rick Dalton saying, "Today is the day that famous film star Rick Dalton died." Blah 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 blah. So even though it's not out there to watch, this story does continue, and there is somewhat of a happy ending. They went on to keep working in video action movies, and if you grew up in the '80s action on VHS was pretty awesome for its time. It gave us Missing in Action. That's where American Ninja got its fame, even though I did see that in movies. But
Missing in Action was theatrical.
I'll be interested to see Cliff's new story coming out.
Part 2?
If it's in production.
I'm not sure about part 2. The first one certainly was. I think the second one. I mean, but these movies made their money in video. There's no question. I mean, they were, or they really lived on video. They were, relatively short-lived in theaters.
And for any of you young people that are probably listening to this, like both of you, this was pre-Blockbuster Video. You would have to go to a local mom and pop video store, rent them, and bring them back. This is before Blockbuster. This is before you could even buy
or
movies.
tape trading.
Movies were like, what, $90 a
Each
piece
of
or
those
something?
copies were like hundreds of dollars to the people renting them.
They were sold to be rented. They were not meant to be sold.
To be rented, right? So they were sold at and there was no revenue sharing. I mean, there's a whole history there, but.
Yeah, and I know you've told me the first movie to become available publicly for the public to buy was like Batman 1989, as well as E.T. I heard also was priced affordably for people to actually buy, and that changed the thing because you don't have to go to the video store. I can buy Rocky IV and bring the action home.
Yeah, I mean they realized that there was a huge market for people just owning the videos, and they realized they could sell 10 copies instead of one to the rental store. And then they came. The other thing that came out was there's a whole thing. They came up with revenue sharing so that they didn't lose money by selling, the video store copy for $20 anymore. Anyway, what was the point?
I don't know. I wasn't listening. Can you repeat that?
I like knowing that, and I only hope that version of Rick Dalton took satisfaction in that work and didn't feel like he was letting himself down by doing that work. Because you know what? As a kid of the 80s, those fucking movies were fucking great. And I watched Missing in Action 2 so many times, I can't tell you.
Yes. I feel like he would have been happy if for no other reason than he was working continually, maybe, continuously. And he's an actor. That's what he wants to do. He wants to keep fucking acting.
He seemed like a simple, hard-working man.
Winning an Oscar.
Yeah. I did enjoy that. I'm glad you... I think I only had seen it the one time, and I actually was on a list for me and my daughter to watch together.
Well, it is a family movie.
So, well, she's 21. I mean, it's...
Is she?
Yeah.
All right, let's not bring personal things into this.
Anyway, but yes, wonderful movie. Thank you for the pick.
Yeah, no, good stuff.
I would have preferred. I would like to know how many samurai we think Booth could fight.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about Crazy Samurai last episode, and I know how much you were dying. Like when Goose said that movie, you're like, "Yes, this movie defines me." But you couldn't make it for the conversation. I
think he could kill 400. However, I think if you gave Cliff an acid cigarette, 1,000.
1,000 for sure.
An acid dip, but he's got to have an acid dip cigarette.
And he's got to have brandy with him.
Oh well, she's a fine
Brandy's taken out 80 or 90 at least.
No distractions.
Loved
All right.
All right.
Well, yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. Great movie. When we go off air, I'll let you know
what we're talking about next.
Yeah, I'll let you know when we go off air. Keep it close to the chest. I don't know if it matters or not, but yeah, hopefully you guys can join again, and it will be in 2 weeks with the new movie. Yeah, thanks again for joining. I hope nobody else has anything else to say. If you do, get your own podcast.
Fair enough.
This